So my name is Jill Phipps, and I teach at Summit Lakes Middle School, and I teach an Algebra 1 class. So this is the book that I plan on using, that I've made, at least the first unit of it that I've made, and it is one of the reasons I'm going to be using it, and one of the reasons that I want to use it for class is because this year they are not purchasing the workbooks for the students, which I totally agree with. And so this will be one of the things that they'll use. And in making it, I've already found some things that I want to change. So I just kind of sort of decorated the cover. I want the students to be able to decorate their own cover. I also, on the back of it, you can see up on the bottom, I wrote my name both places. So then if something happens, I can pick it up quickly. And I'd probably get a fancier notebook than this. I covered the first page, as you can see, just in plain paper. I put the bookmark right here. So the bookmark is just a piece of ribbon that I had at home, and it's attached up front under here. I don't know how long that will last, so we'll see about that. I put a table of contents up front. This is one of the changes that I would make, because it's like that took up a lot of table of contents and for a year. And I also didn't leave enough pages for it. I only left 2 pages for the table of contents. So I'd be changing that. I would change this to just have Avid Notes Topic 1, and then I just tell the page numbers here so they could come to it. And I decided to make so these are my dividers, and you'll notice that the words in there are all the words from the unit. And I also decided to put a table of contents on here too, so that if they're like, oh, I need to go study for this, and I can flip to that tab, and then they could see what pages each ones are those are on. You'll also notice that everything I did is in yellow, except for when I made a mistake and I had to use white. But every unit will have its own color. So this is topic 1, and I went ahead and made the pocket page for that also, so we could put things in. I started off mine by putting in Avid Notes. This is a big thing that we're doing at Summit Lakes, and so all of my Avid Notes are going to be right here at the beginning. And I did that so that then they could quickly find them just by going to the tab, so the tab up front, then they could quickly go to it. And this summarizes a lot. And I also did it this way because for the EOC test, the end of course test for Algebra 1 that's required for all Algebra 1 students, they can go quickly to this material and review for it very quickly. And I made sure I picked problems that could show up on the EOC test. So those are my first couple pages. And I went through the EOC. My first foldable, this was one that I edited. It was one that I found, and I think I purchased this one, I cannot remember. And it just talks about the different real numbers. And so you flap it open, and then you can write the definitions on here. And then there's a Venn diagram, sorry about the mistakes there, where I can put the numbers in. Then on lesson 1, we just this is a continuation of lesson 1 and just going through that. I left each place blank over here so that we could do more examples and the students had more room to write if they needed to. Lesson 2, again, left a page blank, and here are my notes for lesson 2. Lesson 3, I decided to do somewhat of a foldable. It's more of a doodle notes, and I did it this way because I wanted them to have the whole sheet to write on, but the more important thing is they see exactly what's happening here, and step 1 and 2 are the more obvious ones, and so they could just fold over to that one. Lesson 4, I purposely, now it's supposed to be in yellow, that was my one mistake, but I just had to glue it onto the yellow. I made it so it's a full page. This is one of the trickier, this is probably the hardest lesson in Unit 1, and so I made it this way on purpose so that it's like, hey, this one's kind of complicated, but we can handle it. And it's a really cool doodle notes that I bought. This one I bought from Teachers Pay Teachers, and it's about literal equations. So any of you teaching math, you know exactly how complicated this can be for students, especially at the beginning. And so then it's just a foldable, but then they can color, because there's going to be times they get frustrated. And also one of the things that I've liked is how it wanted to color in the label, and that's what I do too. So then I can just do it right on there, and they can do it with colored pencils, and then they can doodle. And it has all the different steps with the checklist, so it's a great doodle notes. I'm really loving doodle notes right now. This is one that I took a template from, and it's to solve inequalities. And it actually is supposed to be like this, but for space-wise, and also I just wanted to see the topic up here. So to solve an inequality, it's the same as solving an equation. And notice I left this here, but there's also room to solve the equation down here, except for when, and then this is where they'll fill in, and we'll fill in when you multiply or divide by a negative. And then I gave 2 problems here that we could solve. Knowing there might not be a lot of room, I put it in the middle of the page so they could actually do the problems up here if they wanted more space, and as I'm teaching it. And then the last unit was a foldable. It's about compound inequalities. We have and, compound, or, and writing. And then you can flip it open, and it shows the examples of how you can do them and go from there. So this is mine now. I also went ahead and showed you, so my tabs, if you look over here, they're going to go down and they'll be different colors. So every topic, we call them topics in Algebra 1 because of the book. Every unit will have a different color. And once again, and you can see on the back, I'll show you the different color. But it has the number of that. It has its little own thing, and then it has that divider page. So that is mine. And I'm going to use it in class for their notes, but especially their main notes that they're going to want to refer back to study for test and for the EOC test. So there we go. That is my interactive notebook. Thank you.